Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking and subscribing the channel is free and easy, and it helps me out a lot. If you want to go a little farther with your support, I have Patreon and YouTube membership available, which includes access to the BoshNRoll Discord server, early access to things I'm working on, sideboard plans, cards I'm buying. You could have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use the YouTube membership option, you get sweet, unique YouTube badges and emotes for the channel. If you want to play what I'm playing, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support my channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com. And if you're playing on Magic Online, a Cardhoarder.com loan account can let you play any deck anytime. If you want to wear your support, there is BoshNRoll merch available. All of these links are in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm doing something a little different. There will not be strategic Magic the Gathering content here today. This is a video at the request of Patreon subscriber Akratos, who asked me to do an MTGO tutorial, like MTGO primer. Like, I want to play Magic Online for the first time. What do I need to know? And I thought that was a great idea and good channel content. So I actually have Akratos and a number of my Discord community, whoever decides to pop into this call, in my ear. You won't hear them on the video, but I am being asked questions and given feedback in real time. I've just decided to mute them to keep the video quality clear. But here we are on Magic Online. This is the launch screen. After you log in, this is what you're going to see. And the basic question, I guess the first one is, where do I get cards? Because this is Magic the Gathering, you're going to need cards. And up here along the top, you'll see Collection Constructed Limited Store. Go to the store, and there are a number of options here. You can kick it old school, but I don't recommend it, and just purchase packs and open them to get cards. I will tell you that is a really bad idea. Packs on Magic Online, there's kind of like prison rules here, where like you buy things in cigarettes, you buy things in packs and ticks. There's a separate economy in Magic Online that we're going to talk about, but in the store, the ticket is the most important item here. $1 gets you one ticket. So when you're interacting with the client and with bots and buying cards and even on sale websites, the number of tickets you have is the number of dollars you have within Magic Online. You can purchase those here. You can also go to sites like Cardhoarder or MTGO Traders. There's a number of sites, GoatBots is another big one, where you could probably do better than $1 for tickets. A lot of them sell them for like 99 or 98 cents. And if you're buying in bulk, if you're trying to build up a $2,000 Magic card collection to play Legacy on Magic Online, that's going to add up those 1 or 2 cents per pop. So I will be perfectly honest, I have not bought anything out of this store since probably 2007. And that's a real fact. If you want to draft real quick, you can purchase 3 packs. I guess I should... Oh, this is tough. Like, filling in all the blanks from nothing. We'll talk about draft later. We'll circle back around to that. But right now, tickets are the #1 item in the Magic Online store. You could probably get them cheaper than $1 from other retailers or grinders. Just if you message people like Guldicott or Daryl Ayers or me, people who play a lot of Magic Online, we probably have a bunch of tickets in our collection. We'd be happy to sell you for less than $1. So that's lesson #1. Tickets are dollars. If you want to know how many tickets you have, you go to your collection. The collection tab, this is where all your things are. There's lots of ways to sort them up here. The versions, do you want to see the foils separate from the non-foils? Like if you click Don't Show Foils, things end up in piles rather than seeing the different versions. You could sort by name, color, mana value, rarity, set and collector number, product type. Over here on the left is the advanced search bar. You can click what sets you want to see. These are modern cards. Now we're in Pioneer. Reset all filters gets you back to your base. If you're looking for a specific card, you could type in a word that's in that card and hit search, and it'll give you all the cards with that cards with the word you searched in them. So Ancestral Recall is what I was looking for. I also got Ancestral Mask, Blade, and Statue that I didn't want, but at least there's not thousands of cards here. then reset your filters, kick it back up. That's how you navigate your collection. If you want to see what packs, tickets, other kinds of things you have, other products, this tab right next to cards shows you what else you have here. These are avatars that I've amassed over the years. Some of these have rules text on them because there used to be a format called Vanguard where you basically were this character and they had abilities. After some amount of time, it's been years, they stopped putting abilities on them. Now they're just avatars. And you can change those by up here on the top right where it says my username and the picture of Bosh. You click on that. Might take a second. There it is, pops up. And you can choose your avatar up there from the ones you have available. Some of these avatars are tradable, some are not, some are worth money, some are not. So you might want to check your avatar collection once in a while. They do tend to pile up if you're opening treasure chests. And you get lots of them. Okay, and then down here are the other objects you can own. Tickets will be on this tab. If you have any qualifier points, you earn these by doing well in leagues or preliminaries, and you can spend these to join more prestigious events, like MOX qualifiers or PTQs. The qualifier points are used for that. Play points. These are the Richard Garfield fun bucks. Joining a league costs 100 play points or 10 tickets. So a play point is worth, or 10 play points are worth 1 ticket as far as joining tournaments go. You can't sell or trade play points. You can only join events with them. But they are worth, assuming you're ever going to join another event, it's 10 to 1 for play points to event tickets. You get play points by doing well in events. A league that costs 100 play points. If you go 5-0, you get 11 treasure tests and 150 play points. If you go 4-1, you get, it's 5 or 6. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. It's 5 or 6 treasures. They change it from time to time, and 150 play points. So you pull ahead. If you go 3-2, you get 100 play points and 1 treasure chest. So you're still making money at 3-2 in a league, and at 2-3 you get 50 play points and no treasure chest. So you get half your money back. You have to go 1-4 or 0-5 to lose all your money in a league. They're actually pretty high value, and we'll talk about that a little later. And treasure chests, speaking thereof, these are crazy mystery booster pack kind of things. You get cards off of a curated list. You get play points. You can open anything from like 6th edition Shivan Dragon, which is completely worthless, to like a foil set of Modern Horizons 2. These are the full lottery scratch-off ticket. And these are also the source of tickets for Magic Online grinders. You win treasure chests, and you can usually sell them for between 2 and 3 tickets each if you choose not to open them. And over time, you put up some 3-2s and 4-1s in leagues, and then you have a pile of treasures. Now you have something like 20, 30 tickets, and you're on your way to grinding. That's how that works. Now that we've talked about all of this money stuff, let's go see how to spend it. To do that, you go to the Trade tab at the top, and you end up on this crazy spreadsheet. You basically don't want to try to navigate this at all by scrolling it. If you're looking for, back in the old days, if you were looking for a specific card, like let's say I want to buy Endurance. Up here at the top left, I can type Endurance into the search bar, and that pops up all of these people who have Endurance for sale, or they'd like to buy them. At this point in the Magic Online economy, these are all bots. Let me see if searching human actually does anything. Okay, if you search for a human, you don't get a bot, and humans usually will pay slightly more than a bot or sell for slightly less than a bot, but they won't have everything that a bot has. As far as bots go, you should pick your favorite. I'm sponsored by Cardhoarder, so I'm going to use that one for the purposes of this video. And you could search the brand name of whatever bot you want to use. Cardhoarder is a big one. MTGO Traders is another big one, and GoatBots is another big one for your information. And then that'll sort out all of these Cardhoarder bots. And then each bot will tell you what it does. So Cardhoarder.bot is open, official Cardhoarder bot, and this one is a sell bot because it doesn't say otherwise. If you scroll down, you start seeing buy bots. So Cardhoarder buy bot down here. If you want to sell cards, they'll buy them. And I'll log into one of these bots and show you how it works. This open or busy down the middle column, that tells you if the bot is currently in a trade with someone or not. And the trade button is all the way on the right. I think you can also right click. Yeah, you can right click to hit trade as well. So going into a trade, they're going to ask you what trade binder you want to use. I have my tickets. Oh, I better take a step back. All right. More things emerge. Trade binders are managed down here. These are your decks. These are the formats that you have. And trade binders is at the bottom. What I do is I keep all of my tickets in one binder for when I want to buy from a bot. Then I have a binder I just call dump, which is cards I don't want. I just throw any random crap I end up with in here that I don't necessarily want to own. And once in a while, I'll log into a buy bot and see if they want any of it. You do have to make the trade binders. You can also do a full trade list, which is just all the cards you own. You don't really want to join it. That's fine if you're buying because your ticks will be included in all the cards you own, but you don't want to go into a buy bot without a curated list of things you're trying to sell because they'll just start pulling from your whole collection. But this is a sell bot, so I'll go in with the full trade list. Waiting for them to accept my request. Happens pretty quickly. And then a trade window pops up. And now we see all of the things they have for sale. I'm interested in buying one endurance. So I'm going to type endurance into the search box. This is the exact same box that's in your collection because you're just searching Cardhoarder's collection now. Click on the card you want. It goes into the you will receive box. And then Cardhoarder. Holy guacamole, endurance is 73 ticks. But anyway, the bot will generate the price of that card. So Cardhoarder bot says in the chat, endurance is 72.48 ticks. You give 72.25 ticks because I have a small amount of store credit. I have 23 cents of store credit because there's no change on a ticket. If something costs 72, you have to give them 73 and they'll just bank the 52 cents for next time. And that's why it's important to kind of pick a bot that you like the most to make sure your store credit doesn't get just burnt off, just raked by random bots. So they took my 73 tickets automatically. And if I want to complete this trade, I can hit submit down at the bottom. And then a second window will pop up. And this will be the confirm trade window. They're going to ask you one more time, you sure you want to do this? And I'm going to say no, because I'm sponsored by this bot and I don't need to buy cards. And I want these 73 tickets for other things. So I'm going to cancel this trade. But if you wanted to finalize it, you would hit confirm. I'm going to bail. Thank you for your time, CardBot. That's how you buy cards. To sell cards, you find a buy bot that's open a trade with them, and I'm going to go in with my dump bot, or my dump binder, see if they want anything out of it. There's just a lot of bulk rares and promo garbage here. If you just wait a second, it will automatically comb your collection and let you know. And over here in the chat, I don't see any cards I need. Make sure that all the cards you wish to sell are tradable. You must restart the trade for me to see them. Thanks for visiting. So they don't want any of my dump today. I can find something they actually would want to buy. I'll just go back in with the full trade list. That's easy enough. So the buy bot, trade, full trade list, and this bot is just going to try to ravage my collection, which is why you want to curate your trade binder before you go into a buy bot. Oh, this is actually pretty reasonable. They didn't take too much. Oh, I'm kidding. There's Ren and 6, Cavern of Souls, Force of Negation. Yeah, they went after some good stuff here. And along the side, they'll tell you their buy prices for each of these things. So 3x Force of Negation, 3x 63.15. And then they'll tell you the price of each thing. And then the total, you get 400.999 tickets. Take 400 tickets and hit submit. And if you don't want to sell any of these things, you'll notice Force of Negation is number 1, Ren and 6 is number 2. You can remove them from the trade I want to keep one of my Ren and 6s, so I'm going to say number 2. And now there's only 3 Rens in the trade. And I'm going to cancel this because I'm going to keep my cards. But if I were to finish that trade out, go to their tickets page on the other products, the same way we went through our own collection, and I can just add more tickets to the trade. The add more to trade button is helpful, but it's not great. Like, I'm pressing my number 4 right now, and it's not... Okay, you have to delete the 25. Like, you can't just highlight and replace. You have to highlight, hit delete, empty the field, and then you can type in the number. Then you can add your 400 ticks to the trade. And if we were going to do this, I'd hit submit, but I'm not, so I'm going to cancel. And that's how you move money around on Magic Online. That's how you build a collection. That's how you extract value. Like, when you're winning, that's how you cash out. Now let's talk about, you own some cards and you want to play some Magic. Let's go to some legacy decks here. And I have this Storm deck that I played on the channel recently. It's still in my collection. I haven't deleted it yet. And you'll notice some of these cards have weird slashy yellow borders around them, like this Brazen Borrower, the Peer into the Abyss, Massacre. That means that I don't own those cards. What do I do about that? I can go to a bot. I can say, add missing cards to wish list if you want to buy them from a bot. So add to the wish list, trade binders, wish list. These cards are now on my wish list, and some random other stuff from a different thing I did. These are on the wish list now, and you can go to a bot and import your wish list and load it up quick. Or you can search item by item if you want to do it that way. Now, I have a rental service. If you want to go the rental service route, which I do highly recommend, and be a card hoarder, that's how I do it. We're gonna navigate the selecting a deck, getting the deck into your collection, and then renting it from the service. Let's go to MTG Goldfish. That's a site I use for deck lists and decks, popular decks / metagame, and legacy. I want to play some legacy. What's the best deck? Is it Delver? Right on the top of the list. So I'm looking at this Is It Delver list. It went first place, 7-0 in the last Legacy Challenge. If I want to try this deck on Magic Online, I can go over to the left to this download button and download a text file of this list. Pops up that it was downloaded. Now I'm going to go to the Legacy tab. Like, the actual gray bar that says Legacy on it will get you to this screen with your deck boxes. You can say Add Deck, Import, and in my recent downloads, there's Is It Delver right at the top. Okay, there's Is It Delver. You do not have to click card by card through your collection to get a list into Magic Online. Please don't waste time doing that. It took me a long time to figure that out when I started the program, and it sucks. You can import with just a couple clicks just like that. And you'll notice I don't own Dragon's Rage Channeler or Ragavan, Unholy Heat, Murktide Regent, or Expressive Iteration. I'm missing some important cards from this deck. So let's go to Cardhoarder and get those cards. Head over to cardhoarder.com, and I'm going to go into their deck editor. Import that deck the very same way, the same file. Go into my recent downloads, Is It Delver, load the deck. Boom, there it is. I have previously imported my collection into Cardhoarder's Card Keeper. So these are cards that I own on Magic Online, and Cardhoarder already knows about that. They have a tutorial to do that, so they can show you how to do that if you want to upload your collection. And the reason you would do that is there's a tab here that says Remove Owned Cards. This deck right now would cost me 1,171 tickets. My loan account is only good for 1,000 tickets. Let's remove the cards I already own. Now this deck costs 606 tickets after cutting the Force Negations, the Fetch Lands, Volcanic Islands, all that expensive stuff that I already have. Now it's just those cards that I didn't have over in the Magic Online client. I can click Add to Cart. And now we're in the checkout screen. And right here, payment method, I'm going to use my loan account. make sure that's the option. You can also trade tickets, and a bot will message you and open up a ticket trade. And of course, you can just pay actual money. But we're going to use my loan account, and I'm going to place the order. And we're going to do this in real time. So my order's been confirmed, and it's on the way. In the meantime, this will take, it usually takes like 2 to 4 minutes for your cards to show up. In the meantime, we're going to talk about real quick how we can use this deck. So I just got a question from the Discord. How do you return the cards once you borrowed them? I'll show you all that at the end, because we're going to play around with this deck a little bit in the constructed area, and then I'll show you how to return them. The constructed tab is up here in between. Oh, there's Cardhoarder. This little message just popped up. CH Loan Delivery 7 has sent you a message. So you can click on that to open up the chat box. Your Cardhoarder order is ready. If you are ready to receive your order, type yes, and I will open the trade. So I'll type yes. And right away a trade pops up. I'll accept with my full trade list. It doesn't matter what you accept with. The cards will go into your full trade collection either way. And now we're in a trade window where I can drag these things down. If there is a way to just grab everything at once, I don't know what it is, but if you highlight and drag, you get one of each card that's highlighted. And now I have everything. Let's pretend I missed one. I forgot one of the Murktide Regents. I hit submit. Cardhoarder says you did not take all the cards. So you can't misclick here. They will help you out. So, all right, I missed a Murktide Regent. Now I'll submit. And then, boom, confirm trade. You have new cards in your collection. Here they are. These have been added to the collection. We go back to the deck screen. Now I own all these cards. No more obnoxious yellow borders. Is a Delver ready to rock? One thing that you'll notice here, though, this green triangle up here is indicating that this deck is not legal. And there is actually a yellow border left around this Mishra's Bauble. And fear not, Cardhoarder didn't forget my cards. I have a Cold Snap Mishra's Bauble added to this deck, and I got a different set from Cardhoarder. And the way you can fix that easily is right-click, and right at the bottom, update with versions in your collection. Click that. Now these are Double Masters Mishra's Baubles, and we're good to go. The deck is legal. That can confuse people a lot. When you're getting started, you're like, I do own this card, what the heck? And sometimes you just need to update with versions in your collection. Now that we have a deck, let's go play some constructed. These are all of the constructed events for the various formats. The formats are down the left, and we have a legacy deck right now. The things outlined in gold are scheduled events. These are one-shot things. They have a start time, and everyone will join and play at that same time. You scroll all the way down. These just borderless boxes, or black, or the purple edge, however you want to describe that. These are things that are at will. And a legacy league is where I do most of my playing. These are the videos I record all the time. You'll notice the entry options down here, 10 event tickets or 100 play points. You can click the way you want to pay. And your deck right here, deck is a Delver. If that's the wrong deck, you can click the change deck button and pick something else. But that is the right deck. If you want to review your deck before you join, right next to the leaderboard tab, there's a deck tab, and you can get a quick view of your deck, make sure this is the sideboard you meant to submit and everything. And then 100 play points, and we're in the league. I am going to join this league, and I'm not going to play the whole thing, obviously, but now we're inside the league, and you can just click play league match, and it'll generate an opponent for you. And you play 5 rounds. You can drop if you want, and prizes based on record. Oh, I think I said 150 earlier. It's 120. So these are the prizes we ran down earlier. These based on wins. But I'm not going to join the league right now. I'm going to drop from the league. And because I haven't played any matches yet, I will get a refund for that entry fee. It asks you to type the word drop in the drop box, drop from the league, and I get my money back because I haven't started a match yet. No harm, no foul. So you can save those 100 tickets. If you join, realize you joined with the wrong deck, you're not just out that money. You can get it back as long as you don't play a match. If you want to battle your friend, Legacy 2-player queue. Oh, I actually think this is a real tournament somehow that nobody uses. Oh yeah, this is just a 1v1 quote-unquote tournament where you play 20 play points and the winner gets 30. I don't know anyone who actually does this, but I guess you could. If you want to battle your friend, Legacy Tournament Practice. These are human-generated games, and you can join one that's already active. And there's a like description box that's under the game. This one says, someone who enjoys playing a game in its entirety. You'll find that these rooms are kind of unsatisfying. At least that's been my experience. Some people are cool. They just want to play games. Sometimes you get weird notes in this, like no discard, no counterspells, no wastelands. I'm just trying to play Magic, which is cool, but it's a lot more casual out here than it is in the leagues where people paid money to actually play. So you can join one of these existing games, or you can create your own. The join button is here, the create button is next to it. And then you can set the parameters of your game. How many players do you want in this game? Do you only want your friends to join, or can anyone join? And can random people join in and watch or not? What we're going to do right now is a one-person game. Only buddies can join, no watchers. And what that does is it lets you goldfish your deck. So here I am. I'm in a one-person game. I have a hand of cards. I'm going to keep it. And now you can practice clicking through game actions. When you crack a fetch land, your deck pops up. And if you're searching your deck for something, the things that you can search for will be sorted alphabetically and in this white border on the left. The things that you can't search for will be sorted alphabetically in the darkened space over here. So there's a volcanic island, cast my creature, and now we're in the steps and phases. Since we're here, let's talk about how to actually play the game. Most of it is just point and click. Like you click on the thing you want to happen, and then you tell it what to do. We're in my main phase right now. I can click OK in this box. Because this is a one-person game, it's at the top left. In a two-player game, it'll be more in the middle because your opponent's board will be at the top. You can click OK to pass priority and just move to beginning of combat. Then you move to end of combat because nobody attacked. Then you're in your second main phase, and you can adjust these stops as you like. If you right-click on this upkeep, I want to stop on my upkeep on my turn. If this was a two-player game, you'd be able to stop on your opponent's upkeep. And these do save your preferences. Like whatever you leave them off as in one game are what they're going to be for. I will rescind that. It doesn't remember what you set last time. You can set preferred stops in your settings. So this gear, display and sound settings, there's a lot of stuff here. We'll come back to this in a minute. But the in-play settings, in duel settings, they still call it a duel. This is from 2001. These are my default settings. I want stops on my opponent's upkeep and my own, both mains, every step of combat. I have damage and end of combat on my turn, but I haven't bothered on my opponent's turn. And then second main and end step stops on both players' things. If you want to have fewer clicks involved in your games, you can uncheck these. In Legacy, though, when you're playing Force of Will, etc., it's important to be able to interact when you want to interact. We'll come back and look at these settings again in a few minutes. So I'm clicking through priority, end of turn, and then it comes back, it's my turn again. And we're back in my main phase, and I draw a card. If I want to cast this lightning bolt, click on it, and you'll see that the screen just went dark. The same way that when we were searching our deck, the things we could search for had white borders around them and everything else darkened out. The targets, the legal targets for lightning bolt, are currently Dragon's Rage Channeler and my face. So they're in white borders, and everything else is darkened out. If I cancel that, everything else comes back up. If I click on this land, it jumps into play. Click on it again. It gives me this option to activate its ability, and I can just click somewhere else if I don't want to do that. For the lightning bolt, I'll bolt myself. And then you get this really nice visualization of the stack. Like, the stack is kind of a nebulous thing to explain to new players, but if you play Magic Online for like 10 minutes, you'll get a really good understanding of how the stack works. The Dragon's Rage Channeler is a triggered ability triggered by Lightning Bolt. So now we see Lightning Bolt on the stack targeting me. If I mouse over it, this lightning or whatever this is icon on my avatar shows me what is being targeted. And Dragon's Rage Channeler is above it on the stack. I pass priority, and then Dragon's Rage Channeler's ability resolves, and now I'm surveilling one. A new window pops up, and I can click on this card, and it gives me the two choices. Leave it on top or put it in the graveyard. I'm going to choose to put it in the graveyard. That resolved. Now I pass priority on Lightning Bolt, and I take 3 damage. So that's how casting spells work, choosing targets work. If you want to speed up, or you don't want to click this button every time, down here at the bottom, there is this little keyboard looking thing with an arrow on the top. It's very small, you might not even notice it's there, but if you click it, it gives you a hotkey menu. So OK is the number 1 on your keyboard. Notice my mouse is in the middle of the screen. I'm just going to press the number 1 on my keyboard, and it's like I'm hitting that OK button. And we're just stepping forward through the phases. I'm just going to click into the next turn. Now, the number 2, pass until response. So this will pass priority either until the turn ends or until my opponent does something. So I've just pressed the number 2, and the game stopped me because I have a choice to make of declaring an attacker or not. Sure, I'll declare an attacker, then I'll press 2 again. I didn't hit the 2 again, but because I don't have an opponent and they didn't do anything, it just passed priority all the way through back to the next turn cycle. And number 6 is the next big one you want to know. That just passes the turn, no matter what happens. It is going to stop me in combat, because combat will ask you if you want to make that decision. But I just pressed the number 6. I'm in combat. I hit OK or 1, and then we're back to another fresh turn. F6, or when you hear Magic Online players say F6, F1, F2, these used to be the F keys. Now they're just the actual number keys. So don't get thrown off by F6. That's just lingo that's lingered. Lingero. It's lingo. So, but it is the number 6. And then the number 8, that one will pass priority unless you can do something. So I'm going to press 8. And you see this little like caution sign, this little triangle pop up. Maybe you didn't see that. It's very small. I'm going to draw your attention to it. I'm going to right click and turn off auto yields. And it went away. If you press 6 or 8, then realize, oh wait, I want more control than that, you can right click and turn off auto yields. This is also where you can undo, concede the game, and do other abilities. Like tap for blue. Oh wait, I needed red mana out of that. Undo. Control Z also does the same thing. Control Z is undo in most things, and that's still true here. The things that you can Control Z are things that have not affected the board state yet. Like, I can't sacrifice my Flooded Strand and then Control Z it, because I'm already in my deck. That's going to force the game to shuffle. I've already gained information, like looking at what's left in my deck. You can't Control Z that. But you can Control Z, I think you can Control Z a Ponder. Oh, I'm still in my upkeep. Let's find out. So Ponder, Dragon's Rage Channeler resolves. Put that in the graveyard. Now Ponder resolves. This is, make sure you're following the prompts very closely. Put the cards on top of your library in any order. Click each card to put it on top of your library. The first card clicked will be the last card drawn. This can be confusing if you're not dialed in on Magic Online's order of operations, but it is a first in, last out system. So if I want to draw Ragavan right now, and I want to draw Brainstorm on my next draw step, and I want Ponder to be under that, I would click the Ponder first. Ooh, I just hit Ragavan. Whoops. Can I Control Z that? I cannot. This is kind of frustrating and nebulous. The things that you can Control Z versus the things you can't are sometimes confusing. Like, there is no reason in game terms why I can't pick that Ragavan back up and get Brainstorm instead. But Magic Online doesn't let you do that, so be careful with your clicks. If you right-click, it will pop up this little window that you can put on top of the library, but if you left-click, it's just gone. And then Ponder lets you shuffle your library if you like. Sure, let's shuffle it up. And then you should get a new different card. There are no abilities in this particular deck that I can demonstrate with that would use yes or no, but 3 is to say yes to something. That's in the case of something like Aether Vial, where it's like in your upkeep, it will trigger and say, do you want to put a counter on this? You can hit 3 for yes and 4 for no. You can also right-click cards like that, and a menu will come down that will say always yes to this ability, always no to this ability. Speaking of that, let me cast another lightning bolt on myself here. See this Dragon's Rage Channeler. So I have priority right now. I can right-click this ability, always yield to triggered abilities from cards named Dragon Rage Channeler you control, or yield to triggered abilities from this Dragon's Rage Channeler until end of turn. There's 2 options here. If I don't need priority every time Dragon's Rage Channeler triggers, I can always yield to Dragon's Rage Channelers, and that won't give me priority, it'll just give me the Surveil window right away. It's lucky we found another one right away. I'm going to cast my Ragavan here. And I'm going to pass through the turn, draw that other Dragon Rage Channeler, and since we set a yield for all Dragon Rage Channelers, when I cast this Brainstorm, both of the Channelers should go on the stack and then resolve without asking me if I want priority. Look, we just jumped right into this Force of Will Surveil, and that's because I yielded to everything. If I don't want to do that anymore, I can turn off auto yields. Remember that button, it's very important. Put Force of Will in the graveyard, and I'm no longer auto yielding to this second Dragon's Rage Channeler. And turn it back on, put that Daze in the graveyard. If you think you're going to need more control over that, you can do the yield this turn, and it gives you the choice for future turns, but you don't need it right now. And that is how casting spells work. Combat, when you in the declare attacker step, the red zone will appear in the middle of the game, and you click on the creatures you want to attack. They get a red border around them, they move up into this red zone. You can click them again to take them out. If there's a Planeswalker in play, or you have more than one opponent, a menu will appear when you click that says attack Liliana the Veil or attack BoshNRoll, and you'll just choose who you're attacking. So I'm attacking, Ragavan's going to trigger, it's going to exile that Unholy Heat and give me a treasure. This creates a new zone. This is an exile zone that can be cast. And Magic Online will let you know this is up here. When you mouse over it, it'll show you why you can cast it. It's highlighting Ragavan right now. And if you click on it to cast it, it'll give you your viable targets, like everything else we've done. And if I opt not to cast it, it'll just go away. That's gone now. It's over here in my regular exile zone. These windows over here, this little gravestone is the graveyard. You can click on it to pop it out. You can pop it out even further, open it up. You can manipulate all these windows. If you really want to get a good look at a graveyard, you can pop it out, move it around, anchor it back to the side, or even anchor it to the side over here. And then these are exiled cards. These are seen cards. This is an important window to know about. It's like a little eyeball. If you were to Thoughtseize your opponent, all the cards that you saw when you cast Thoughtseize will appear in this window. If you Mishra's Bauble your opponent, the card you saw on the top of the deck will appear in this window. And then you can X out of those cards as you check them off the list. Maybe there's no easy way for me to find a Mishra's Bauble from my deck right now. There are 2. But I do have Expressive Iteration in my hand, which uses the Exile Zone. So I'm going to cast Expressive Iteration. 3 cards are going to appear. Oh, I'm surveilling first, and because I passed priority, let's keep this Delver. That's a good card to find with Expressive Iteration. And now Expressive Iteration is going to resolve. Here are the 3 cards. Oh, we even found a Mishra's Bauble. That's so lucky. Now, make sure you're paying attention to the prompts. This card, I would have messed it up if I wasn't paying very close attention the first time I cast it. Put one of them into your hand. I'd like the Delver of Secrets in my hand. Put one on the bottom of your library. I don't need this land. And exile one of them. So Mishra's Bauble ends up in exile. It creates a can be cast exile zone for the turn. And I'll go ahead and do that. Which triggers the Dragon Rage Channelers again. Which I still have the auto yield set for. Now I get to use the Mishra's Bauble. I'm opening up the Scene Cards tab because something's about to show up in it. I look at the top card of this deck. I've now seen Brainstorm. If my opponent draws this card, or casts this card, or shuffles their deck, I can click on this X, and I've no longer seen the Brainstorm. Or it's gone, or I don't need to think about it anymore. Whatever the appropriate answer to that is. And like the other graveyard and everything, you can pop this out, manipulate it however you want to. I tend to keep them anchored to the side like this. And this is the last one is the pending effects. It's like a little shield. And that will let you know Mishra's Bauble is planning to draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. If your opponent reveals a companion, there will be a little heart-shaped thing that pops up. And that'll be a companion that you can pop out. And it'll be along this menu as well. And with all of my clicking around, I've ended up at 8 life, and I have 8 power in play. So when you attack for lethal, the game will end. That was a little laggy because I'm running my recording software and Discord and everything behind it, but I attack, tells me you win, and then you can begin sideboarding. Here's the sideboard window. You get 3 minutes to sideboard. It'll count down. If you haven't submitted a deck by the time it counts down, it'll just submit your original 60 again. So I'm going to bring in these 4, I'm going to cut these 4, and then I can hit submit my deck, and we go back in for game 2. Again, this is laggy because I'm running a bunch of stuff, and it's a program from 2001. There we go, and we're in game 2. If you're going to mulligan, I guess we could talk about that since we're here. It'll ask you if you want to keep or mulligan. You hit that mulligan button. The chat window will say BoshNRoll mulligans to 6. All right, this 6 looks fine. Keep. Then it'll ask, put a card on the bottom of your library, because this is, in fact, the London Mulligan. Don't need 2 Scalding Tarns. And this one will ask if you're good. It'll say when you're done or cancel. Like, oh, I hit the wrong card. Cancel. Just bring it back. I meant this Scalding Tarn. Now I'm done and ready to play. And now we're in another game. Available chat. Are there any further questions about the user interface in-game that you want to talk about before we do something else? Okay. All right, I'm getting the thumbs up from the chat, so I'm going to concede this game. That button is on the right-click drop-down menu. That's an important button to know where it is. I click it a lot. Concede this game, we're out of here. Oh, it's sending me to sideboarding again, because this is a one-person game, and I both won and lost both games. I'm going to concede the game again, try to get us out of here. Oh, I'm still sideboarding. I don't spend a lot of time goldfishing legacy decks, so you can just X out of this. If the window is doing something silly, you can X out the top, and it gives you some options here. I'm going to concede the match now. Apparently conceding the game's not good enough. If you play best 2 out of 3 against yourself, you're just stuck there forever. But there is an exit, don't worry about it. And Legacy Open Play is just another room. It looks exactly the same as this one, but it'll be even more casual, and it'll probably be even harder to get a game. These are best of 1 with 60 minutes on the clock. These are best of 3 with 25 minutes on the clock. So if you're playing around, that's a way to do it. We're done with this deck for now. So I can go back to Cardhoarder and go to the Loan Program tab at the top right. It has a list of all my orders that are out on loan. I'm a diligent returner, so it's just the one. Return this order. And we already have a chat message. That was instantaneous. There was no editing there. The return bots are very quick. Type yes to start the trade. And to give things back, you have to go to your full trade list. They know what versions of what cards they gave you, except with my full trade list. And the bot just pulls the cards that are not mine. I hit submit, and I give them all back. And that's the loan program. If you want to play limited, here it is. There's a limited tab. and you can choose the draft format you want. Currently, Modern Horizons 2 is running, Cube Draft, Adventures of the Forgotten Realm, and Strixhaven are the available formats. If I wanted to draft Modern Horizons 2, I can pay 25 event tickets, and that will cover my entry fee plus all my packs. I can provide 3 of my own packs and 4 event tickets. So that's bring your own packs if you've been winning packs, or if you're buying packs from bots, which is usually cheaper than the store. The 25 event tickets is literally just the combined retail of 3 packs plus the 4 ticket entry fee to the tournament. This is the same as going to the store and buying 3 packs plus paying entry. You can get packs for cheaper than the store through the bots. You could probably save like $1 to $4 per draft, depending on the format, by just buying your own packs and joining that way. Or if you have enough play points, you can join using play points. That's the way that play points leave the economy, because these are keeper drafts. If you grind up enough play points playing constructed, you can spend them on drafts and keep the cards. That's a way to increase your collection while maintaining your own inside MTGO economy. You can also just pay 25 tickets a pop to draft Modern Horizons 2. Normal draft formats are cheaper than that. It's 12 tickets to do a draft of a standard legal set, but Modern Horizons 2 is a little special, so it costs more. As far as clock management, that was a question that I got. You do have an individual... I better open up a window for this. Okay. The only deck I have is called Nutshot in all caps. Classic. So constructed. I'm going to go to Pauper. I just chose a deck that I have that I can join a queue with. So create another single person game. I guess in a one person game there won't be a clock. See if I can watch any of these. Okay, I'm going to watch this match. You could click the watch button if you're just bored and want to see someone play some Magic. A lot of these do allow watchers. And then their game will pop up in progress. And you'll see that there's a clock above each of their usernames. When that clock runs out, you're dead. You concede the match. This is your clock. It is not a shared clock the way that paper Magic works. There are pros and cons to that. Generally, I think it's pretty good, and I wish paper Magic ran like this, but there's also some cons. Like certain combos don't really work, like Food Chain combo or Bomberman, decks that take 8 to 10 clicks to gain 1 mana, and the goal is to make infinite mana. Like that's a lot of clicking, and you're going to run out of time with doing that. But there are a lot of ways to mitigate the clock. The hotkeys are going to save you so much time. Like just the 1, the 2, the 6. Use those early and often. If you need to stop and take a decision, like if you need to spend 3 minutes on a brainstorm, you do have that ability with the chess clock compared to the shared round clock in paper Magic. But keep in mind that's 3 minutes you're not going to have later to kill your opponent. If it's a tough control mirror and you spend 3 minutes on a brainstorm and you end up with 0 minutes on your clock when they have 3 minutes on in the middle of game 3, you're going to lose. So keep the clock in mind early and often. It generally doesn't matter. Like it'll come up a non-zero amount of the time, but most normal decks can win easily in 25 minutes, including sideboarding. It's just if you get in a grindy control matchup, if you are playing a format that's particularly slow, but that doesn't matter much, and there's a lot of ways to mitigate it. And having your muscle memory for both playing the deck and clicking through the hotkeys on Magic Online does a lot of work. I actually have 1, 2, and 6 bound to my mouse. I have a gaming mouse with a bunch of extra buttons, and I can just hit a mouse key to pass priority. I can hit a mouse key to pass priority to the end of the turn, and I can hit a mouse key to F6 through an entire turn. So I don't even touch my keyboard when I'm playing Magic Online. And if you have that available, I recommend it. Just don't put those buttons where you might hit them by accident. Chat, are there any questions you would still like me to answer? Okay, I'm getting the thumbs up from the chat. That's a Magic Online tutorial. If you want to know more stuff, sound off in the comments. If you know a trick that I didn't talk about, like we didn't dig into everything that Magic Online can do, There are more hotkeys that this basic tutorial wouldn't cover. Like there's ways to auto hold mana abilities. If a card has a mana ability and a non-mana ability, you can auto stack triggers. There's a bunch of other things that can happen in more complex situations, but this should get you off the ground as a Magic Online player. So thanks for checking this out. I hope it was helpful. Again, ask in the comments, and I might make another one of these if I get enough questions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for the next thing.